Okay, folks, here we go.
Here we go. Let's have a good show.
1B, stand by.
Yeah.
Yacht,
Yeah,
take it.
and
Take
just go right now. Go to
well,
camera 3. 3. Go to the perfect, just like that.
I'll just go ahead.
Yeah, graphics 2 is going to be up for the first. Okay.
Take it.
Go right there. Go to camera 3. Go. Yep. Go to the perfect, just like that. No music.
I'm going to hand to Q, Sophie.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
On radio in the Canal Zone.
All right, guys, mic check.
Go ready.
Okay, Ricky, mic.
Yep, I am ready.
Wait for it.
Willie, mic check.
Yep, let's go.
1B, stand by.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
5,
4,
3, 2,
1,
and
we're live.
Okay, and go for it, guys.
All right, here we go, guys. It is Halloween. It is October 31st, and it's the last time that we're going to say this for the next 6 months or so. 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and 7 p.m. Canal Zone Time, because tomorrow there will be a time change, or tomorrow night, I guess. And so in the Eastern Time Zone, we're going to be the same as Canal Zone starting next week. So it'll be 8 p.m. Canal Zone Time. But anyhow, right now, it is 7 p.m. and 5 p.m. and 7 p.m. And out west, it is 5 p.m. Ricky, what's going on, man?
Hello, everybody. Like always, very good, very nice. Thank you for everybody for being here with us again tonight. Like we are every week, we are happy hour at the Balboa Yacht Club. As you know, my partner and I here, who's been flickering on and off, Willie Benninghoff and myself, Ricky Royal, both born and raised in the Canal Zone. We every week bring you this show where we talk about our beloved Canal Zone, about our history, about our people, about our way of life. And Willie, the Canal Zone community is so involved. There's so much going on: golf tournaments, picnics, luncheons, you name it. So this is the place where we bring you all that information and we keep you up to date on the Canal Zone community. Hello, Ms. Joe Burns. And to get this thing started, a little toast to all our viewers, our friends.
Absolutely. Salute. I'm not sure what the flickering is, but yeah, it's kind of annoying, man.
Well, it is Halloween, so
yeah, it is. It is Halloween. It is all that good stuff. But we did throw a couple other graphics on there. Maybe that's doing something to it. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. But
we have a lot of stuff for you guys.
Yeah, but it's just
graphics. But it seems to be messing with our.
It really does. So I'm going to see if I can remove a couple of these and see what happens, because it's really annoying.
I mean, too bad if we don't have the witches flying through. Well, everybody, tonight we have a great show. It's our fifth Friday of the month while Willie gets our technical stuff taken care of.
I know what to do.
It's the fifth Friday of the month. You know, we normally do four shows for you, but our fifth one is, and the last one of the month is going to be a new one that we do every month. And it's kind of a recap of the shows we did throughout the month to go over all the stuff that we talked about and recreate some of those great times. Because I'll tell you, after the show, Willie and I, we're just so pumped. Like, wow, what a show.
Wow, this is so annoying.
It goes away and then we forget about it. But this show is about recapping the last four shows. So if you remember, we had Dave Dahlstrom, like we always do, for history the first week. And that was followed by, who was that followed by? Cassie, la hija
Cassie Sprague. Yep.
Cassie Sprague. And then we had the James Slater. It did that was a great show. So we got some clips from that tonight. As well as we had a great, was it Taekwondo that those kids did? Or
it was jiu-jitsu. It was the Gibbs kids.
And then we had Henry as well, HB, to talk about his career and what he's got coming up. So tonight's show, guys, it's going to be all about that. Hello, Sheila. And so be ready for some fun. We're going to have a lot of fun with you. We did have a bunch of new flying witches and all this stuff, but it apparently is taking up way too much.
Well, I don't think it is because I turned them all off and it's still doing the same
Still
crap.
doing
It's
the
still not
same one.
working too well. So I'm not sure what's going on. It's telling me low bandwidth, which I don't. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
on my
how that-
side, Willie, you're not flickering, but oh yeah, now you are. But you were doing pretty good.
Yeah, it's nonstop on mine. I don't want. And I'm
Well,
just
why
running
don't
a
you?
speed
I'll,
test and-
I'll run it for about 5 minutes while you get off and get back on. I mean,
Yeah,
I can
Your
change my
text
way
is
right
read
through the
anyway.
next
So
5 minutes if you want.
yeah. Go ahead and do that. Let me jump out and reboot the studio and see what happens to see if it'll correct
It's
itself.
it's a big up. We worked all week on this show, guys. So, anyways, we were going to do two segments tonight. Bochin News, which is the new version of the long bochinche, and we're going to do the recap. And the recap, we're going to do all these small clips that we have from this program that we've been able to afford now with some of our new sponsors, as in Howler Monkey, which is our sponsors tonight. And Willie will be showing their commercial. You can see it right up here on this TV. But Willie actually did that commercial, and we're going to be showing that to you for the first time, I believe. We might have slipped and showed you once before, but anyways, we're going to move on. Before we get into Bochin News, I do want to shout out to a couple of 4 Zonians that are doing a great thing in Panama. These 4 guys, I'll mention their names right now. They have a company called Green, and what they do is they convert waste to energy, and such as green diesel and other green fuels such as pellets, fluff, powder, which you can then transform into energy. The 4 Zonians involved with this got together with the embassy, and they're bidding to provide this service to the city of San Miguelito. So it's a big deal. And that, again, Green is the name of the company, and it's the CEO of that company is none other than our very own Johnny Hearn. And the COO of that company, again, one of our very own, Andy Wilachek, one of the OG guys with Hammer Construction, who's still providing great construction services down there. And Eddie Dolan also is an investor in this company, as well as Ralphie Furlong. So those 4 Zonians are bringing to Panama a new technology to convert waste into energy. So shout out to those guys, a little toast. And if you see those guys around, give them a little hug. They're doing a good thing for us. All right, moving on. So what happened today in history in the Canal Zone? Going back to 1912. Then 1912, the president was actually Woodrow Wilson, not Teddy Roosevelt. Teddy Roosevelt got beat that year by Woodrow Wilson, but Teddy was running for his 3rd term. So anyways, he got beat, and Woodrow Wilson was the president when the canal was inaugurated. But on this day in 1912, he proclaimed the Panama Canal Act. Basically, it's what it was is it was called Proclamation 1570. And what that was is just say that the United States was responsible now for the opening, maintenance, protection, operation, and the sanitation of the Canal Zone and Panama. So that was what happened today in 1912. So moving on, I got a good story for you guys. Have you guys ever heard of the Screw Worm War? Well, the Screw Worm War, guys, if you haven't heard about it, just started 2025. Now, some incredible opponents. On one side, you have Panama and the United States and their engineered male bugs who are going to do a confrontation with all the screw worms that were at one time held back in the Darien Gap. And since all this immigration and all this stuff happening, they were able to get through, and they do cause a lot of problems with our cow. So the Screw Worm War has begun from Houston, Texas. A bunch of engineer male bugs working their way south, and from Panama, the Smithsonian, a bunch of engineer males working their way up to go find females. And of course, these engineer males will not provide reproduction for the female. So it's just going to eventually die out, and that's the way they kind of defend that. But that is the screw worm war. Just begun. All right, guys. So Willie is still working on this, so we're going to keep moving on. I think he's almost back. So what we got next, guys, is ACP news. Like we always like to talk about. And ACP is what the former Panama Canal Company. You guys, we've been talking a lot about all the projects coming up that they're doing. But now what we're gonna really focus in on is the latest news on the ports, since we haven't heard much on the ports. It's been kind of quiet, and there's a reason for that. There is our.
Finally, man, I had to reboot the whole computer, man.
Yeah, no, but you're still flickering.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I don't see it on my end now.
All right, don't worry, I can handle it. Listen, so ACP now is their new motto is water conservation. And why water conservation? Well, it's because 52 million gallons per boat, and even though they have the facilities to increase the number of transits, that's not the solution. So their solution has been to use, and then of course, the more boats that come through, the more pollution, right? The more pollution, the less rainfall. So they have this new thing at the canal now. If your boats are coming in with zero emissions, which is not being built that way, you kind of get it first in line. I mean, you still pay your the fees, but you get a bump if you have zero emissions. So that's one of the new things they're implementing in the canal. Second thing like we've been talking about is the gas ducts. Now the gas ducts are being built not only for profit and to increase production in the canal, but it's also to minimize the use of ships that carry these products through the canal. And as we mentioned, the gas ducts are going to be for liquid petroleum as well as the gas petroleums, butane, ethanol, etc. And then along with this, now the canal doesn't just want to do ACP just doesn't want to do ships. What they're looking now to do is get involved with different ways to get the merchandise from one side to the other, and they're going to do this with ships, railroad, gas ducts, and semi-trucks. Semi-trucks in Panama is a big business. A lot of ships unloading on one end and loading back up on the other end. But the highways that they've been using are the highways that we all use. So, congestion, traffic, accidents, etc. Wear and tear on the roads, all that stuff. That's never good. So what ACP and the Panamanian government are now doing is going to build a highway that connects Colón to Panama, but on the west side of the lake, not on the east side where all our towns are and all our highways are, etc., but on the west side. And I don't know if Willie can show us that on the map, but that highway is called Corredor Logístico del Canal de Panamá. So basically, it's a highway that connects the ports on the Atlantic to the ports on the Pacific on the west side.
Now, what's interesting, Ricky, on that is that on the Atlantic side, like on the Pacific side, most of your ports and your logistics and everything is on the East Bank, and so it's going to be interesting how that's going to work, where they're going to be, having to cross over, because as you can see right here, I mean, everything is on this East Bank here.
Well, they have a beautiful new bridge.
Yes, correct.
So
correct.
That bridge, you can see it right there, right? That bridge right there only services Fort Gulick, or is it Fort Sherman? Fort Sherman. That's it.
Yeah.
So that was built for that reason. I think the Germans built that. They did a good job. Was it the Germans or the Chinese?
Probably the Chinese, I would bet, but who knows? I mean,
who knows? No, I think it was the Germans. Actually, the Germans built that. Actually, yeah. I don't know.
But anyway, yeah, that's and as you can see here, some with this Google Earth.
Yes,
you can kind of see what it would look like.
Well, that's the road that's the existing road. Look at where it dies. Well, now that they're going to build a highway, guys, and see where that water edge there is. That's where the new dam's also going to be, to the very far bottom left.
Yes,
down there is where the new dam is going to be.
Interesting.
So that's where they're going to be flying. So the highway is going to come across. Then there's going to be a new bridge, Willie, that goes over that. But the highway is going to be on that side. So all those, imagine all that. So you guys want to get in on real estate in Panama? That's what you want to go buy.
Right? Yeah, because that's going to probably circle around and just come right back down this way and probably end up through Coakley in that area there. And
it goes to Rodman. It's going to go to Rodman.
Oh, perfect.
Which then gets connected to Howard and then gets connected to the train that crosses over.
So here's Rodman right here, this area here. And here's, of course, we refer to as Howard, but it's Panama Pacifico. But so this area here, which again, as you can see, here's the whole west bank of the canal going along this way. And when you get here, then of course you have that Madden Lake and the feeder areas there, and that's what he's talking about.
Is that our witch?
All right, let's get that one up.
I didn't see her. Well, we have a witch cruising around, guys. Yeah. There's going to be a new bridge, right? Obviously, and you can see where it's on kind of obvious location.
There she is. There she goes. She just flew by there. But no, it wasn't that anyway. It's something. I think it has something with my computer. I've been getting more and more. My computer's been getting buggy. I think it's time to rebuild it and either upgrade or. I mean, it's a pretty upgraded system. I've got a pretty beefy system, but I've been adding so much crap to it and junk. It probably needs a good cleaning and get back to where it should be. But
yeah, Willie, and then part of so we already know, guys, from all the different times that we've mentioned it, there's going to be 2 new ports being built, right? Corozal and Telfors.
Correct.
And on the Atlantic side on Manzanillo Island. Is it Manzanillo or Margarita? Yeah, Manzanillo Island. So, but there's 3 more planned for the future. They're all on the west side. Rodman is going to expand. And also they're going to put a port next to the French Cut.
Oh, right on.
Yeah. And another one called Palo Seco, which is flat top. That's what the 3 ports.
Is that Palo Seco? Is that going to be like where the old leper colony was? Because that's what that was called.
Flat top, yeah. Out there. There's going to be another port. So all of those are on the west side, Willie. So that's why this highway and this stuff is for the future. But guys, that's 20 years up the road. So hopefully a lot of us will still be here for those 3 other ones. But Panama's future is logistics. The canal is just going to be one part of like 5 that are going to be operating the future of the Panama Canal, guys. So that's our update on that. The latest on the ports, the one that we're all been following, the Balboa and Cristobal ports. The latest on that, guys. The reason why it's been quiet is because it's still being fought in the Supreme Court. You know, the lawyers are still going at it. They're trying to, Panama's saying it's an unconstitutional concession, and of course, a Chinese company, Hutchinson.
Right.
They're doing their best to keep.
Put a lot of money to that. They're trying to hang on to it.
They do. I mean, the pictures I've seen of Balboa Port is impressive. The size of that thing compared to what it was when we lived there. But the whole thing with this, guys, is that it's at the courts, and there's 2 possibilities coming out of the courts. One good, one bad. Good, I mean, for both Panama and the Chinese company. The good would be if the Chinese companies said, okay, look, there was a lot of bribery, there was a lot of corruption, even though it was on both sides. We'll have an amicable parting of our ways, and we'll be able to participate in the new concession. Okay, that would be the best result coming out of this lawsuit. Is if the Hutchinson decides to part ways with Panama and amicably, and just participate in the new concession. The other one would be that Panama decides it's unconstitutional, like the mines, and then China will really be out of trouble, because not only will they lose the concession, they probably won't be able to participate in the next ones, right? Because okay, so those are the 2 options that are going to be coming out soon. All right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What happens is that Panama, actually the ACP has nothing to do with this. The Panamanian Panama Canal Company has nothing to do with this. The people behind this is the Panamanian government. Now, AMP, the Autoridad Marítima Panameña, which is the Maritime Authority of Panama.
Okay.
They're the ones behind it. They're the ones that are the ones that give out the concessions. Well, what they have to do now, Willie, is that they've got to get ready to day that they say this is unconstitutional, right? They got to bring in their people
Yes,
to run
correct.
operations. So right now, ACP is out there interviewing companies, and who knows who they're going to be. Merck has been making a
Sure.
lot of noise, so maybe Merck is one of those companies out there. But yes, ACP, if it goes the long way, and China doesn't settle amicably, which I believe 80-20 that they will, because they want to participate in the next concessions. They will just have to, if they lose, they're just going to be out of the running.
Yeah.
So so that's what's going on with the ports, guys. And if there's a new concession, ACP will take not ACP, sorry, AMP will take over operations 12 to 18 months before it goes to licitation. So that is the latest on the ports. And if you've seen pictures of Panama ports, it's rather beautiful. I mean, it's taken up everything that we ever knew, but it's pretty big. It's pretty impressive, Will.
They've created an amazing port area. I mean, you're right. It's a double-edged sword. For us from a nostalgic point of view. I mean, it's not like we had planned on going back there and going, "Hey, my house is gone," right? But bottom line is, when you look at it and think of the memories of getting from Balboa, from Amador to Diablo to Los Rios to Corozal, you can't go through that road anymore. That's gone. That's all part of a big giant port container, lot out there.
Yeah, like the skating ring, forget about that.
Yeah,
That's gone.
gone. All that stuff is gone.
All the baseball
Absolutely.
parks, none of that, man. Forget about
there,
the
right?
the shoe store. No.
That's where it ends, right there at the shoe store, is where they have the
shoe
big
store,
gate.
Really? That was the coolest place. Remember that little ramp that you had to walk up to get to the shoe
That's
store,
right.
and you get in
It was
there,
very industrial, man. But when you walked inside, because it had a warehouse ramp on it and everything, and there was all those rail lines there.
Remember, there was like a left, an area to the left there, and then to the right was to the shoe store. But man, they had the one thing they always had when I was growing up were the hush puppies. Well, those hush puppies were popular,
man. Dude, you those. Well, for us in St. Mary's, you didn't get to wear those until you got into
right. You had to wait till you get right. We had to wear like black leather shoes. I remember that.
So,
and every once in a while, we would bring our black tennis shoes, and then we'd get in trouble.
Yeah, no doubt, man. But
take you home. All right, guys. So our Bochinche. What else we got for Bochinche? Oh, very good news for ACP, the former Canal Zone company. You guys did. ACP was the one that financed the third set of locks. The five.
Correct.
Well, the bid was won at $3.1 billion, right? And this the Spaniards with a bunch of other European companies as well got the contract. But everybody knew they underbidded and were counting on corruption to get Martinelli was the president then, to get the price up to what Bechtel had bid, which was Bechtel bid, I think it was 5.2. Okay. So they, the Spanish got the contract for $3.1 billion, and then they started building, and then new administrations came through, and then there was this one administrator called Quijano, Canal administrator for ACP, and he thought, you know what? No, we're not playing that corruption game. Prove that this new $3.1 billion change order is legit. Right. So they went to court after all these years, right? They opened up that, I think the third set of locks opened in 2016. God, I'm so sorry. I don't know that. Okay. 2016, 2025, almost 9 years later.
A decade later.
Decade later, the ruling came out. Guess what? No, ACP does not have to pay that change order. Very nice. They couldn't prove that money was spent. So ACP now is $3.1 billion richer. So I'm sure that money's gonna have to go to pay for all those people that are gonna have to move out of the new flooded areas that are coming with.
That's exactly
with
right.
That Rio Indio project, which is another ACP project. Like I said, ACP $8.8 billion in investment.
Yeah, and for those of you guys that don't know what he's talking about is, remember last year in the news, all the doom and gloom of the canal because the water levels are so short because of the dry season. It was an extreme dry season and other factors. But one of the things they determined was that, Gatun Lake, fantastic for operating the canal zone in Panama City to a certain extent. But fast forward 100 years later, much bigger area. The city's much larger. There's a lot more population. They've added a new set of locks, everything else to it, and turns out that you need more water. And fortunately, you're in the rainforest, so it's just a matter of collecting it. And part of that
Mhm.
collecting that then is getting the area, damming it up. Like we've learned, the history of a lot of the towns that we know here, not only were these towns lost to the canal construction, but some of these towns were in the Gatun Lake area itself, right? And so those have
Mhm.
now, that's what's going to happen here. And so that's
Correct.
what Ricky's referring to, is that there's families there and there's farms out there and a lot of stuff that needs to be relocated. It's not cheap, right? These people have rights, and they, there is a certain eminent domain ruling involved there, but at the same time, they do have to give them some kind of market value. So that's a great point, that suddenly they come across a lot of extra money that'll, they might even be able to up the price a little bit, because rest assured that the realtors and the attorneys for these families just realize, hey, these guys got another $3 billion, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That
You know?
is the greatest news I've heard. That happened today. That just a couple hours ago. They popped that out. So again, guys, Woodrow Wilson, 1912. The Proclamation 1570 happened today. Our fellow Zonians with Red Green, got just about to get a contract with San Miguelito, the Screwworm Wars. We got the ports. We got the canal change order, and we got the highway. I think we covered everything, Willie.
Very nice.
I can't see anything else unless you want to talk about sports. Oh no, we do have.
It is World Series, and surprisingly enough, it looks like at this point Toronto is looking like they're going to win the World Series, but it is close.
And we have a Zonian on that team. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago, we talked about that kid.
He had that walk-off homer to
George
win the
Springer.
game.
Look, I got it right here. George Springer, his grandfather, born and raised in the Canal Zone. His parents built the canal. So, I mean, George doesn't get his Zonian. I mean, that's as Zonians you get.
Yeah,
and he
no
would be
kidding.
fifth generation. Those are the ones like me and Dahlstrom. A lot, so been there a long time. As well as we know the Arangos and the boys as well, and the Ayases as well. But anyways, that his grandfather left the zone when he was 17 with the pitching a scholarship.
Right.
So he must have torn it up in Little League in the Canal Zone and all that. All right, guys, to wrap up this nice Bochincha segment, we're going to do a little bit of TripAdvisor. Because, we like to inform you guys, especially now that we're all going to Panama in January, 8 weeks from now or so. And, we'd like to tell you what's happening, right? The restaurants, the hotels, etc. All right, so as I was doing my research, guys, for today's episode, I came across this one website called MENA FN. It's a worldwide news source, which is mostly used in the Arab countries in that area. And they had this one segment where they were talking about the greatest or the strangest or the weirdest places you want to visit in the world. And lo and behold, 6 places from Panama made that list. So I thought, wow, I mean, people all over the world are looking at this, right? And this is what they recommend to see in Panama. So we're going to share that with you real quick. The first one, Willie, let's get that map up. It's called Santa Fe in Veraguas. Now, you Panamanians out there are probably saying, yeah, we've heard of that forever. But the rest of us, no. We've heard of Cerro Punta. We've heard of Boquete, right? There's all the cold weather and the coffee and all the beauty. Well, Santa Fe is also a highland community, but without the crowds. It's like virgin Boquete. So again, all you guys that want to invest a little money and want to get into the coffee business, because it's the same coffee as the Guias and Gaias and all that stuff. It's in the Veraguas Highlands. Hopefully, Willie will get us
working on
the map up here. Again, it's cold there. It's cool up there. Coffee, waterfalls, Santa Fe National Park that's out there, which stretches across a cloud forest filled with orchids and rare birds. So you're up in the mountains, right? And there's it's a cloud forest. Yeah. So This is
They
kind of
real
like
quick, you can see
new-
where Red Eye was is in that area there.
yeah, I mean that's not like a Zonian spot. Jerry Curtis probably knows that spot with his
Right.
motorcycle touring company.
Although it's much more accessible nowadays than it was when we grew up down in the zone, where the highway was very limited and slow. And
Yeah.
now getting into the interior, for example, getting to Coronado takes 30, 45 minutes. give or
45
take,
minutes, yeah.
You know,
If
so
you go like from Summit, you go across that bridge.
yeah,
45
so
minutes or less. Well, that's where it is. Those are some highlands. It was way up there, and that's that little town. That's what they're promoting in Panama. Wow.
very nice.
Incredible. The second place, which again, Jerry Curtis, my good friend, has a home. They're promoting is Pedasi, which is in the Azuero Peninsula.
Yep.
Guys, it's a fishing village, but this fishing village is completely packed with art galleries and restaurants. And not only that, they have a bunch of academies out there.
Where's Pedasi?
I think right around there on that edge. Wherever that edge is, that edge right there, somewhere in there.
For it here, Pedasi.
Well, guys, listen, they have all these academies out there for
There it is.
surfing academies that are being run by professionals. So, art galleries, restaurants, surfing academies. This is all the stuff that's going out there in Pedasi. I mean, it's all levels of surf training
There
as
you go,
well
guys.
as whale watching. Yeah, Jerry's right there by the coast. I've seen his lot on pictures only. Yeah. So that's the new and upcoming place, Pedasi. Now, Jerry's probably going to kill me. Hey, what are you thinking, city people out there? But guys, I mean, the whole world.
Look,
saying,
there's a little
listen,
community there. There's a little beach
look
community
at what's
right there.
coming. Look at that.
Yeah.
They ain't messing
Well, that's
around.
nice, guys. There's some nice houses there and whatnot. Look at that. That's right on the
Oh,
beach
my
there.
Goodness.
So that's Pedasi, and looking around here. I mean, there's
It's
a lot.
like a
There's
surf
a lot
community.
available, though. Think of it that way.
Yeah. Now, you know me, Willie. Where are the hospitals?
Right.
We always gotta know where the hospitals are. Okay, let's move on. The next
There's
place, which we all
Guatemala.
expect them to be on the list, was San Blas and El Valle and Bocas del Toro. But Bocas del Toro, right? It's got a lot of islands, but the one that they recommended was on the northern tip of Bocas del Drago. It's called Isla Colón. So if you're gonna go to
There it is,
Bocas,
Colon Island.
yeah, if you're gonna go to Bocas, you want to go to that tippity tip up there on the northern tip called Bocas del Drago. That is supposed to be the legit
Look,
place
right
on the
there.
tip somewhere.
Right there.
Bocas del Drago. Yep, that's where you want to go. Look at the nice road getting out there. See the road?
It's about nice. Define nice. Almost
Well, this has got a road. Well, but most of the stuff there happens on the water.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
last but not least, on the this one made me laugh because it had, like go on your own recognition. In other words, we don't take any responsibility for this recommendation. It was the Darien National Park. They're actually sending people out there, but this is what they say.
Well, hell, they
Most-
walked through here for 4 years the other direction. So, I mean, they
Yeah.
ain't that inaccessible, apparently.
Well, they put here a lot of disclaimers, right? The most remote and biodiverse regions in the Americas,
That is
right?
true.
Few dare to see, okay? World of mystic peaks, river crossings, and a forest that is alive with animals and sound like jaguars. So this company tells you that's a great place to go, but they are not responsible for sending you out there. So that was an interesting list of places that they are recommending in Panama, Willie.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. It's there's listen, Panama has certainly, we've seen it's become much more accessible as a country now, right? It's not as inaccessible as we've come to see, and we used to laugh about the speed limits and why it took forever to get anywhere.
35 miles an hour, right?
Yeah, and you think about going to Las Tablas and stuff, for Carnival, and it was 6, 7, 8 hour drive sometimes, man. And so it certainly has shrunk quite a bit. And then of course the airlines are hell. Copa's even flying out to David again. They've got a regular scheduled service from Tocumen. So
Air Panama's back
and
now.
Air Panama does as well, and they fly out of what is Albrook used to be Albrook. It's now Marco Sahelaber.
Yeah, we can still call it Albrook.
But yeah, no, so that was kind of cool. It was interesting to see. How Panama's changing. I mean, it is growing. There's no doubt about it. That the the country's done well since Panama left. Panama left them something great. I mean, United States left them something great there, man, and they've gotten really good about it. Look at what Frank says. Hello, amigos. Santa Fe is a beautiful place with lots of history and a good road. There you go, right on. And that's the thing, guys. It's the roads. Ricky and I were talking about the other day. That's one thing that Panama really, over the last 25, 30 years, has really improved on is road construction. And it's they've finally figured it out. And it's sometimes you save up front and it costs you in the long run, right? And go ahead and spend the money up front and get a good quality road that lasts you forever. And here that's the case because God knows that their traffic sucks because you see pictures all the time of people complaining about traffic, but at the same time, that's a lot of wear and tear on those roads and they're lasting. So I guess that's a good thing. So
so Santa Fe, I guess everybody in Panama does know it, but I'll tell you, the Canal Zone Camino, at least I never heard of it, man. That's good. It was the number one place they recommended to go see in Panama.
Right. And look, Jill's talking about Boca del Drago. It's a beautiful place. Huge. Oh, Citro. That's cool. That's awesome.
Oh, that's what that
very good. Yeah. Yep. And yes, it is this week. This month, across the board, this month, Jill, is Panama Independence Month.
We got a great month for you guys. Yep.
There's a lot going on, and it is that month. It's Panama is one of those interesting places. As we've learned, they have numerous histories. The history from Spain. History from Colombia more than once, in fact. And some people will argue, even independence from the United States in a lot of ways, and Gran Colombia and everything else. So, but November is typically the month that all that stuff is celebrated. And, I remember as a kid, one of the memories that we've talked about it before, that even during football practice, you could hear in the distance was the drum beats. Right, because those parades, man.
I love that.
The high school drums were badass, man.
The coolest sound.
Yeah,
I mean, you could hear it. I remember during football season.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
and I remember we would clearly hear them over Ancon Hill.
Yes, absolutely, man. That sound carried, and it was booming, but it was cool because it was it was all about a rhythm, right? It was not just regular drumming, man. And those parades were really cool to watch. It was awesome. It was cool. Panama's, this is their month, El Mes de la Patria, and going to celebrate a lot of cool things. So, but that's November. That's tomorrow. We're still in October. And October, like Ricky said earlier, was a busy month. It was a 5-week month for our show. It was great because we had 5 actual episodes as opposed to normally 4. And every episode was a really, I mean, all episodes are cool, I would think, right? I would hope. But these were actually really cool. Our Dave Dahlstrom episodes are always great because we always learn some amazing things about the zone.
Mm-hmm.
And this one focused a lot on World War II and the defense of the canal and things like that. There was a couple of cool things there. Let's actually pull a couple of those things up because I meant to, let me see here. How do I do this? Yeah, there is when Dave joins us, obviously he always brings something great to the table. In this one of the things he talked about was the SS Cristobal being the actual first one that did the transfer, right? I mean, that was one of the things that he called on. That was supposedly that one. We were wrong thinking the Cristobal was the one when some others had already started going through. Not all the way through.
August 3rd, so the Cristobal beat the Ancon going through the whole canal.
Of course. The Atlantic side always
but it was unofficial. Right?
Well, and interesting trivia for you guys to know, that was the last Cristobal win in the Canal Zone.
No, it wasn't. Willie, you're so mean.
Yeah, I love giving Jurgen Cristobal a hard time. But
Willie, what's great about that story, though, that the Cristobal was the first going through, was that, in my opinion at least, that the reason why there were so many of those were A, to test the canal, make sure it operated, but B, to let all the workers, get
it was really
feel.
Cool. Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
that's who were on those ships. On the Ancon was like 800 celebrities, that were on that.
Right.
I looked up if Woodrow Wilson was on that crew, and he wasn't.
There's
nothing about him being there for that opening. But which I respect because it wasn't his project. It was the guy he just beat.
It was Teddy Roosevelt's baby, and
and Woodrow Wilson was known as his number one political adversary.
Yeah, indeed. Go
Tigers.
Go Tigers. I know. Listen, you guys won in 1915, 1914.
No, they brought in a coach just to beat them, Willie. We know that.
They They did. Coach Palumbo was that guy was. I mean, there was some amazing Cristobal Tigers teams, man. That was. I'm glad I didn't have to face them because they were some tough teams, man. They were.
Oh, I did. They beat us when I was on.
Yeah, they were good, man. They were damn good. But that was really cool. And then also, Dave was talking about the other thing that he mentioned was what was the other thing he had talked about? We had on there. It was the baseball dude, wasn't it? Yes, yeah, this guy.
And this guy, his name is Mickey Harris. And in
Mickey
1941,
Harris, that's right.
he was a major league player. He got called up after anti-aircraft training in Virginia. He was sent to the Panama Canal Zone in 1942. So then he played baseball for the Balboa Brewers. He was a pitcher in the highly competitive Canal Zone League.
See that was, you know, when he mentioned that, you know, first thing I thought of, and hoping that tonight if Mark Cicero is listening or any of the Cicero family, because that was similar to their dad's story or their grandfather's story, right? Because that's how the Ciceros came to be in the Canal Zone. Was Grandpa was playing in the major leagues and got I think it was an eye injury, and had to cut his career short, but loved baseball and found out that hey, there's good competitive baseball down in Panama, and there's a bunch of Americans down there with this whole Canal Zone thing. And so down he went, and he's like, hey, here we go, man. So
Grandpa Springer, we just talked about it, was, you know, during that time.
Right. Absolutely. And so it was cool to kind of, you know, hear that story, because Panama does have a baseball heritage. I mean, even through today, obviously, as we're talking about here in the World Series. And, you know, not too long ago, you know, one of the most famous Panamanian New York Yankees baseball players of all time, Mariano Rivera, you know, just a fantastic, you know, superstar baseball player, you know, and a Panamanian. You know, we go back to Rod Carew and born on the Panama Railroad. So there's a cool Canal Zone connection there. So it's always fun to hear those stories of guys from Panama or the zone making it into the big leagues. That's always, you know, kind of fun. And it was a nice little twist to the Canal Zone history. You get to tie into some of what we've learned about, you know, the guys coming in. But, you know, I think Toronto's going to take that World Series, man. I think I was rooting for LA, obviously rooting for USA first foremost, but also just because of what's his name, you know, hitting and pitching the way he's been doing. It was just, to me,
Ohtani. Yeah, Ohtani. Yeah. Hey,
you know, but now you being from San Francisco, that's kind of tough because that's your biggest rival.
I know it's hard to root for the Dodgers if you're from San Francisco, man. It's very, very difficult.
Yeah, I'll bet, you know, but that's still a phenomenal thing.
Hey, my sister lives in Canada, so I have a good reason to.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Right on. Stick with the family.
Yes. Yeah.
Makes it easier anyway since you're rooting against the Dodgers. So I think it's. I don't
know the Giants. We just don't go there, man. And if we do, silently, of course.
Yeah. That the Giants Dodgers, I would say, is not as well known except up there locally, but it is just as fierce as the Yankees Red Sox rivalry. Right?
Yeah, no, they started. Those two started way back. The history of them started way back in New York. You know, they've been rivals back in the day. Correct. But what happened was the mayor of New York only built stadiums for the Yankees and the Mets, and they wouldn't build new stadiums for the Giants and the Dodgers.
Well, they were gone. The Mets weren't around then.
Yeah, so they both decided, we're taking off, and they went to the West Coast together, and they started the whole.
It was the Yankees. The Yankees had all the clout in New York. They were New York, and so the Mets came to be. I think the Mets started in 64, 63 or something. The Mets didn't come around until later on, but nonetheless, that's exactly what happened. These two teams are like, the hell with you, man. We're out of here. And at one point, the Giants had signed an agreement to move to Tampa Bay.
Oh, I remember that in the 80s. Yes.
Correct. When they first built the dome here. The Giants
built the dome for the Giants. Yes,
they sure did.
They were going to bring Barry Bonds and everybody out there.
Yep.
I remember that.
That was interesting. Yeah. So no score in the game so far. Right on. That's cool, man. It's right now, Toronto's up one game, 3-2, isn't it? I think.
3-2.
Yeah, so Toronto wins now. It's over. You know, if the Dodgers can win, they go into a Game 7, which I guess for a World Series is always what you want to see, right? As a neutral, you want to see a 7-game World Series. You know, that's the one of all the major sports. I guess hockey does it as well. Well, no, I guess they all do it except football. That it's a prolonged, you know, playoff format. You know, the games, even the championship. It's, you know, it's a best of series.
It takes a whole month to go through the playoffs.
Correct. Versus the NFL. It's
That's a
one
month.
game, man. The Super
It's only
Bowl is one
a
game.
single elimination, though. Yeah,
You have an off game. It sucks for you, man. That whole season is all riding on one game, man.
which
That's when you got
normally
to perform.
happens.
All
right, what else we got here for?
But yeah, no. So
clips.
then that again, Dave brings some great history. And then the following week we had a really cool a guest on, somebody that we've been trying to get on for quite a while. Our own class of '76, James Slater. Okay,
that was
and
a great
he
show.
had that was a really good show. I'm trying to find. There's one video in particular. Okay, so is this it? Because there was one in particular that let's do this one. We'll get to it anyway, but just all
so I can share a little bit. I hope I don't get in trouble.
Oh no, this is Cassie Sprague. Sorry.
Oh,
we'll delete it if we have
she
to.
was on the second week.
She was on the
yeah. Let me switch off. That's right. I had these in the wrong order. No, James Slater. For all the you guys that don't know, James Slater is he's a Zonian. Played for Ricky. Give him the background. He played for what? Viva, right?
His band was Viva. His father was a doctor at Gorgas, lived in Ancon. He was him and his brother were very well known in the Canal Zone community. James for his music and his little brother for his skateboarding, that California look. But James, yes, was very, very popular and in the Canal Zone. But more than anything, he's also a very well-known music writer. He writes for all the top performers in the country genre.
Correct. Yes. He lives in Nashville, and that's where he was from. He was in Nashville when he joined us, and I mean, we're talking the likes of Tim McGraw, Kenny Chesney, Martina McBride. You name the current country
Nelson.
Music superstar and Willie Nelson. He's written songs for them and written his own songs. And we're going to talk about one of those songs here in just a moment. But here's something really cool that I posted it today on Facebook, and it was one of those interesting things. And I'm hoping that some of you guys can come up with what your thought is on a song that you would come up with. But this was really cool.
If you were on a desert island and you had to live with one song for the rest of your life, think about it. I'm going to play you a touch of what mine would be. What would it be? Now, there's 50 songs. How do you pick one? But I will tell you, listen to this lyric slowed down, okay? Check this out. You'll know the song. This is probably the one I love. You're an everlasting summer and you see it fading fast. So you grab a piece of something because you think it's gonna last. Well, you wouldn't know a diamond if you held it in your hand. The things you think are precious, I can't understand. Are you reeling in the heat? Storing away the time. Are you gathering
I'm not a singer. Should have reminded myself of that. Yeah, that was really cool. Just that whole episode was, to me, one of the funnest, engaging episodes that we've had, right? Because the whole time he was with that piano, and you can tell that this guy, he can work those keys like it's breathing, like you and I eat. It was really cool.
Born with that talent.
Yeah, without a doubt.
He was talented in when he was in the Canal Zone. He was just a kid.
Yeah, but so the question was, if you had to go onto a deserted island, okay, and you had only one song, let's assume you had like an iPod or something, you only had one song on it, right? I'm assuming it's solar charged or something, I guess, but if it was, what's the one song that you would have on it? That's the only song you're going to be able to listen to. What would be your song? Because mine I said was Guns N' Roses, and I forgot the name of it again. I can't believe that. As if that really is my favorite song. It's
well, I got to roll with Santana Europa. I could listen to that forever.
Over and over and over. It would never get old. Okay.
It's like getting married over and over and over and over again.
It's like Groundhog Day. Think Groundhog Day, and you had one song that had to play over and over and over. And so
I would go with Santana for sure, man.
Yeah, that one. I mean, I was a huge Guns N' Roses fan. That was my favorite band in high school, throughout high school and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And it was from Use Your Illusion 2. It was that big album. It was a big double album.
Yeah, we talked about it. We had to get the comments involved to get the. Oh yeah,
Estranged. It's called Estranged.
It's
is the name of the
strange,
song.
but American Pie, we can all sing the
Yes.
words to that song. I
Yeah.
think that guy only played that one song. That was it, and he's like one of the richest dudes in the world.
You know, it's sometimes if the song is the song, right? You know, Thunderstruck, AC/DC, that song commands $500,000 every time somebody uses it in a movie now. $500,000, you know, because that song is such a it's represents so much easily, you know, because of the whole beat and the name of it and everything, that for action movies and whatever, Thunderstruck is perfect, right? It's recognizable, man. But yes, American Pie is definitely an iconic tune there. Samba Pati, okay, there you go.
John, him and I are right on. Yeah, no problem. Samba Pati, those are good. I just know those all day.
Yeah, you know, another song that I always liked that I could play over and over was
Good to see you, John.
And again, Guns N' Roses, Civil War.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's a great tune, man. I like those long tunes. He also played Vincent Ricky. Okay, interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting to see. But that was, like I said, that was really cool. You know, James. Again, being you know, a musician and everything. You know, the talent he has is just, it's like nothing else, man. It's really cool. In fact, you know, when you talked about his getting started, and this was a funny story that led into, you know, a story that Ricky had been itching to talk about. I mean, since we first started doing rock and roll music shows, right?
I was always taken by that Toe Jam, and I remember it was like when Mike Little was playing, so I knew it was Omega. I mean, Viva. But right. I remember the people jumping and yelling. I remember, where am I? And then we find out that night from James that he actually paid his little sister and all her friends to go up there and yell. Right and on. I saw that. I mean, and that connection was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That he remembered that, and that was like one of the most inspirational things that happened to me.
No doubt, because you've talked about that so many. Every time we've had, for example, when George Carr's been on with, you know, with Aska and everything, you know, you've always mentioned that, you know, and talk about Toe Jam, the concert.
I remember Toe Jam, and nobody remembers Toe Jam.
That's hilarious, man. And Chris Jeffries talking about Comfortably Numb. Yes, absolutely. Great tune.
Oh yeah,
man.
Pink Floyd.
Great
sure,
tune,
man.
Don McLean did Vincent. Okay. Yeah, Don
What's
McLean.
Vincent? I'm missing out on Vincent.
Okay, I have to listen to that and find out.
Oh, Vincent's the name of the song?
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, but going back then to Toe Jam, this is interesting how this all came about during the show with James.
My dad had, for $800, my dad had got me this car from Renata, but it was a Dodge Coronet, you know, older car, convertible, $800. I was happier than anything, and so my sister swears that I paid her and Tara Wiskowski, and about 8 of her girlfriends, I paid them to come chasing us into the stadium like the Beatles, and we were in that car.
And that was for that stadium.
I saw that. I remember that. I saw it clear. I'm like, who are these people? What is going on here? You know. Anyway, that's cool.
That's cool.
Cool.
Okay,
cool.
And okay, so Vincent is a song about Van Gogh. There you go, Vincent Van Gogh. Right on. Cool.
But didn't he cut his ear for his girlfriend or something like that?
He did something to with an ear. I mean, he cut his ear for something. I'm not sure what it was.
Like, I love you. Watch.
Then she's like, "Hey, sorry, man, but we've already moved on, man.
You, bro, your art sucks."
Right? I'm who was another artist back then in that same era?
I could sing that song
easily.
I thought it was the first rock and roll song I listened to. By the way, that song.
Oh wow, right on.
It's the first one.
Great tune.
One of my older
cousins. Let's see. I'll never forget 200 people dancing on the second floor of the Yacht de Viva. A whole building. I mean, that building. Listen, you see, when we look at pictures of the Zone, even back in the early Canal Zone, the yacht club is there, man. So, God Almighty, I can imagine in the 70s that thing probably had to be rocking. It was probably falling apart, you know, and
well,
whatnot.
They played all the cool songs that were happening at the time. If I remember correctly, and you guys are going to laugh, but the Bay City Rollers, that SATURDAY, but Saturday night. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I remember Viva used to play that song.
No, that's cool.
That was a cool song.
Van Gogh lived on Tobago. Yes, I did. Yeah, I think we learned that from Dave Dawson that he lived on Tobago. Wow. That's cool.
That's cool.
You know, or maybe we learned from Cassie Sprague. I don't remember, one or the other, but
Our very own. Actually, there's a lot of Zonians that live out there. Mr. Dupree lives out there. Our very own Frank Dupree lives out in Toboga.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing that James brought up, which was kind of interesting, that I mean, who doesn't know that Justin Bieber song? Not that we know Justin Bieber, but it was played everywhere. Despacito.
Despacito, right?
Well, check this out. I didn't know this about who wrote that song. Check this out.
We got to get her on here.
Yes, I agree.
She's a dear friend, and man, we've written some great songs, and of course she wrote Despacito. And she's a Panamanian, so I was like, oh my God, I'm in Nashville, and I found a Panamanian.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Go figure. That's again that crazy world that unless you're out there looking, you'll never see. Things will pass you by. You just miss out on the opportunities.
And not be afraid to. I was like, who are you, man? I mean, but we're like that. We're Panama. We're Zonians, man.
That's right.
I love that.
That's Erica Enders, the blonde there was Erica Enders.
Yeah, and she wrote Despacito.
She wrote that song, Despacito. Cool.
Yeah, how about that? So he says he's going to try and run into her. When he runs into her up there, he'll try and see if she'll join us. Because and I would certainly love to have him back because that show was an absolute blast.
And he mentioned he wants to come back, so we're definitely going to have more James Slater guys.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Money, Honey, BCR.
Okay, they play Grand Funk. Okay, right on.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I remember that. They definitely played Locomotion. Yes, I remember that too.
Right on.
Yeah, there were a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, it was. Listen, that it seems like, and again, it's just a thing about music. Everybody loves music, man. But music shows, they absolutely, everybody loves music shows, and again, this guy, he's a great songwriter. Like I said, he's wrote some great songs for some people, but he's wrote songs for himself as well, and he's a performer. He has his own record out and stuff, and he has a couple of cool songs. One of the songs he has is Guayabera, which if you haven't heard it, look it up. James T. Slater on YouTube. Cool tune, and it's obviously talking about the Guayabera, which is an iconic, it's an iconic Latin American shirt, but it certainly is in the zone. I mean, Zonian parents love that shirt. If you walked into any office, any school, anywhere, your teachers, we may not even realize it back then, but if they didn't have to wear a uniform, most of the men wore a Guayabera at least once or twice a week, man, because it was comfortable. It was, I mean, my dad, as soon as
too bad they didn't do like Hawaii on Friday. They have Aloha Fridays in Hawaii. Everybody wears Aloha shirts.
Right on.
School and everything, right? So too bad Panama didn't have Guayabera Friday.
Oh, that would have been cool. Too bad we didn't have that in us back then, because that would have been a kind of a cool trend to start is
Guayaberas with shorts and flip flops. That would have worked easily. Or Guayaberas, jeans, and hush puppies.
It would have absolutely, But let's hear a little bit about that tune because I'm having a lot of fun with this tune. I have it in my head anyhow because James asked me to put a video to it. He's got the song out, but he doesn't have a video to it, so he was gracious enough to ask me to put a video, which I'm really excited to do. I started working on it, with some fun things. But anyhow, listen to this tune. It's kind of cool.
Because I'm feeling you in this Guayabera. Hey, Guayabera. Hey, why I better get a number. Because I'm sweating in the Guayabera. Never gonna forget where I come from.
Yeah, that was cool. That was a really, really cool tune. And again, it's very iconic because he mentions Chiva buses and having a high school band and armed forces radio, and so there's a lot of things that he takes back to
all
Panama
the keywords.
Yeah, exactly.
That'll trigger that memory.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But so that was week 2 of our
was week
Oktoberfest. That was week 2.
He was week 2. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, week 1 was Dave. Week 2 was him. Because remember, he was supposed to be here in September, and he had, unfortunately, that one country singer that died in a plane crash was a friend of his. So
I'm glad we're doing this because recapping is really cool.
I think it is, man. It allows us to maybe somebody that wanted to comment on it and maybe didn't remember until afterwards. Oh my God, I remember this, and we can come back and do it again. So this is something we're gonna do every month, guys. Is
thanks to our sponsors, we can do this. I appreciate that everybody who sponsors us. And tonight's sponsor, Willie,
Indeed. No, tonight our sponsor is Howler Monkey Sauce, and these guys,
Correct.
the great Canal Zone company here, they have 4 flavors of Howler Monkey Sauce. Check them out. I know here in Florida they're in Publix grocery stores, but you can
Yes.
definitely get them on Amazon. Okay, they've got the original. They've got the verde. They got this one on the screen here, the amarillo. They've also got a hot sauce, which is it'll throw some fire on you. This one's got some heat, but it's it's not one that's
They're not
overpowering.
too hot. I've tried them all. They're not nothing. They're not like
They're not.
that.
Now, you know what's interesting about these guys? If you're into hot sauces or just like to binge watch YouTube and stuff, there's a show on YouTube called Hot Ones. It's a really cool show. It's just a show where somebody brings a guest on, and they're usually superstars or celebrities or whatever, and they just have a back and forth banter. But the basis for the conversation is they go through a scale of from mild all the way to really, really hot sauces, and they dip them on wings, and they're trying them out. And some people are really, really cool and tough about it. Other people, Shaquille O'Neal was on. That one was a really funny episode because he couldn't handle the heat very well at all. But one of in their early first few years, Howler Monkey was one of the sauces that they were using. And it was really cool. Yeah, I'd like to get them on because I know the story, but I'd love to have them on to tell us the story. Because
tell us stories. 1 year, right? We got a 1 year sponsorship.
Yeah, 6 months.
6 months. Right on, man.
But definitely we're going to have them on to talk about that story because this is great. I mean, these guys are in major grocery store chains here in the United States and stuff, so they've really done well with that Howler Monkey sauce. It's really cool. But somebody just gave us a sponsorship there. Thank you, whoever.
Oh, right on, man. That's what that chair.
I don't know why that video doesn't come up. Like I had it. This is why. But anyway.
Well, maybe we were probably overloaded, really.
Yeah, but that QR code down there, guys. If you scan that QR code and you want to buy us a beer, we much appreciate it. But again, we definitely appreciate Howler Monkey Sauce and stepping up to sponsor the show. We are working on a series of commercials for them. We're searching for a spokesperson for Howler Monkey Sauce, and you guys have. In fact, let me cue that up here because I know I have it here.
Yeah, let's watch this commercial. I mean, they're sponsoring us this time. Even though it's supposed to kick off tomorrow, on this show we always do.
You know what? This is the little intro for them anyway. Yeah, but let me see where it is.
By the way, Willie put this video together.
Yes, this is part of a Canal Zone meet that has that is doing this. Where is it? Is this? Oh, here it is. Yes, here we go. Okay, check this out, guys. Enjoy.
Howler Monkey Sauce sent me to the jungles of Panama in search of their new spokesperson, and let's see if we find them.
Hey, listen, you don't need to keep looking for a spokesperson. You found me. I love this Howler Monkey hot sauce.
Wow. Okay, and what's your name?
They call me Balboa up here in these trees.
Roll camera and action.
This one, the Amarillo, is going to be amazing on chicken. Trust me.
Do you know a Howler Monkey who can describe the sweet heat of our original with authentic ají chombo peppers? Or the fresh punch of verde where habanero warmth meets crisp bell pepper? How about the bold tang of Amarillo, yellow Scotch bonnets blended with mustard seeds? And of course, our hot, the same great flavor as original, with red habaneros for that fire. Our sauces are all natural, no preservatives, gluten-free, pure flavor and pure fire. Are you the next Howler Monkey spokesperson?
There you go.
Excellent job.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun doing that. It was really cool. The AI, I use several AI platforms for it for different graphics and even for the voices. But what I've learned on a lot of these AI voices, they remember back in the day, Hooked on Phonics. You see those commercials?
Absolutely.
SOCKS, and that kind of stuff. Well, you actually have to think that way when you're trying to prompt voices on AI, because even something as simple as Balboa, a lot of times they don't pronounce it right, and so you got to be very clever and creative on how you spell it out so that it sounds out what you want. Sometimes break it up. One time I had to do Balbo, Balbo, and then UH separate, Balboa. and then
I
I had
got
to
the wrong
squeeze
accent
them
for a
together and
Siri,
stuff.
man.
So yeah, that one. The interesting thing there is that it after a while it stopped doing it. It was I did about 4 takes on it, and on the 5th take, it just went to a regular English accent. And I'm like, Caribbean accent. I put it in all caps and whatever. And for some reason the AI wouldn't do it. So I had to record that and load it onto another one to it's a lot of fun though. I'm looking forward to doing the rest of them. We've got a couple other monkeys that are in the
Look
in the
at
hopper
that.
there.
Look at the reviews are coming in, Willie.
Yeah, it's
Right
a lot
on,
of fun.
Jim.
So I've got the next monkey is going to be
Willie.
check
Willie's
this out.
Talented.
There's going to be 4 monkeys trying out for it. We already heard from Gamboa. Okay, next monkey, I'm thinking the name is Chame. Okay, Chame is a cool, and this monkey is going to be obviously he's going to have a Spanish accent, but I
Yeah.
need to come up with the other 2 monkeys. So throw some ideas in there, guys, of what your thoughts are.
Look,
Of these
here's a
monkeys.
good idea here. Look at one of our sponsors as well. We got to get all
Yes.
up to you by Cascada B&B. Yes.
Yeah, let's chat, Andrew, because I'll definitely throw some stuff together, and who knows, maybe we'll
get
maybe
another sponsor.
Cascada's Lodge will be the headquarters for that Howler Monkey Sauce talent search.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna spill the beans again. So, Andrew, just so you know, from now on, everything that we announce here, like if you want to go to Santa Fe from Andrew's place to Santa Fe, you take this highway from Andrew's place to wherever. Everything's gonna be out of your place, Andrew. That's kind of
in other words,
marketing.
the center of the zone then will be Cascada's Lodge.
Cascada
So
Lodge.
if we're talking about some new place, it's only an hour away from Cascada's Lodge. Hey, it's only
such a bochinchero, Willie. We're like, let's not talk about this until we get him to sponsor us.
Listen, guys, if you ever have a secret you want to keep, don't tell Ricky. I'll tell you that right now. His vault it's made out of paper. Okay, trust me. When he tells you, hey, it's in the vault.
Never tell anybody this.
Please, man. He
only
gives everybody.
You.
Everybody has
you.
it. I hope that's the case, man. And if so, right on. Thank you, Mark. Mark and I are working on a couple of weeks left, guys. But Mark and I are working on actually, we're almost to the end of it as far as accepting, but a Christmas video for the Christmas time, and we're getting people sending some pictures and stuff of their Christmas memories in the zone, and we can incorporate their kind of like the Panama Days video. So I gotta get cranking on that and get that ready to go, because we want to try and get that out hopefully by the Thanksgiving ideas.
Oh, Thanksgiving, even better. Yeah.
But it is around the corner, man. It's
a music show, another music show coming up. Mark.
Yes.
Slam.
Chame should be a surfer. Oh, I like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Chame should be a surfer. Yeah, all right. Okay. I think actually, didn't you mention Chame? You were going to use that word?
Yeah. Chame will be next. He's going to have a Spanish accent to him. We've already got a Caribbean accent, the Bijan accent. We're going to have then
these surf towns that are popping up, they already had people living there, young Panamanians from way back surfing. So it'd be something like
surfing schools down there and whatnot. Yeah, no kidding, man.
It could be one of those. Can be one of your
He works at the surfing school down there, and he's got a chance to make it big in the industry.
That's amazing that they have art. Cool. They're known for their art galleries in Pedasi. Wow, that just blew me away.
Yeah,
there are restaurants and art galleries. I mean, that sounds as chic as it gets. It's probably full of we just saw the flyover, and those look like legit subdivisions and housing and stuff like that. Well, anyway, Jerry Curtis is going to have a place out there.
Sure, absolutely. But don't forget, guys, all this it's all great, a lot of fun. But thank you to the folks at Howler Monkey Sauce, Tom Ellis,
appreciate it,
and Conan Herring that have and it's a great sauce. I have 2 bottles always. Okay, and my wife will sometimes when we're shopping, hey, you need more hot sauce, right? Because they have it in Publix. But you can find it on Amazon. Order it on Amazon, especially now for the holidays. Get yourself loaded up with some good Panamanian. It's all coffee. Natural, right? It's got no preservatives in it. It's done well, and you're giving some love and some support to some fellow Zonians. So Howler Monkey Sauce, don't forget those guys, man.
And don't forget our Green, our Zonian boys.
How about a fisherman monkey like the guys that Al Sprague used to fish? There you go, right on.
Okay. Boca. That's a good one. That's a good memory right there. Because Willie and I talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
We was talking about the guy with the bird with the one leg.
Right. No, absolutely. Which makes for a great segue then to, the next week, because that was week 2. Then week 3, we had Cassie Sprague and her
Oh,
son
mhm.
Alfred joined us,
It was
and
a
and that
great
was
one too.
that
Yeah.
was really cool. It was a lot of fun there. A lot of great things going on with Panama Arts and Al Sprague's art, but also his grandson Alfred, Cassie's son,
Love the
who's an adventure
grandkids,
man.
man.
He's taken in I
All the
guess in
grandkids
grandfather.
are stepping it up. They're all embracing the Panamanian flag, the Canal Zone history. Their parents. I mean, it's just beautiful. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, so
You
so
know,
that
the
that was actually a
grandkids.
great little segue there, Mark, because we started talking about one of the things we did mention on there was something that's not for this Canal Zone reunion, but the next one.
So
Check
I'm
it
going to
out.
share a little bochinchi. I hope I don't get in trouble for it.
Oh, your
We'll
dad
delete it
probably
if we have
shared
to.
it already.
So the bochinchi is we're working on the possibility of having an Al Sprague invitational fishing tournament, like
Oh,
open
perfect.
water, like deep sea fishing tournament in Panama next year, not the coming this year
Right,
in
of course.
26, but in 27, that will be correlating with the Canal Zone reunion.
There you go. There you go. And then the other thing that they were talking about, which is really cool, this is their
Yeah,
son
so
Alfred.
last Christmas, our family went to Hawaii, and I bought myself a traditional Hawaiian shirt, as you should when you go to Hawaii, and just started thinking, like, why don't we put some of my grandfather's art on shirts? Like, that sounds like a great idea. And I wanted to find a way to share my grandfather's art with people that can't afford to put fine art on their wall, or maybe they don't even
Sure.
have a wall like me. And so I wanted to find a different way to get his name out there because, at the end of the day, we need to get some exposure.
Yeah, so that was
Mhm.
really cool that they're doing that, and so now Alfred is getting into the family business because he put out a whole line of shirts and other things as well, even photography that he's into. This guy he went to school, and then from there he decided, very similar to his grandfather, that said, "Hey man, I do things a different way, man. I do my own thing." And so he bought a boat, and he bought himself a sailboat. He knew how to sail a little bit, but he's learned on the go. And he spent about what 5 or 6 months, he said, out, in the Bahamas, going around island hopping and surviving storms and all that kind of cool stuff. So,
Fishing
you
to
know,
eat and
yeah,
whatnot.
exactly, fishing to eat and all that. So very, very Al Sprague like in that sense, and that sense of adventure and everything. So
Well, we know Al would have jumped in the water and spearfished them fishes.
yes,
Forget
yes.
fishing. No,
Exactly,
he did
exactly.
both.
But it's
That
cool to
was a
see
good
that
show.
next
And
generation of
Christmas,
Spragues,
yeah. And
that
Christmas is coming up, guys. So those will be great gifts to give. If you're into the fashion, I would say it's very similar to Tommy Bahamas. And it's great gifts.
yeah, they're really good looking shirts, that's for sure. I mean, and he's got the
Mhm.
button up shirts like he was wearing, and also they have some really cool t-shirts and whatnot. So go and visit their Panama Arts and Pasha's Perch. Remember, Al Sprague's boat was the Pasha. So, his boat is now the Pasha, and so his line of clothing is Pasha's Perch. And
Mhm.
definitely look them up, and they've got some great specials going on. Load up for the holidays, before you get all that shipping glut and everything else. But
Mhm.
it was really cool to have them on and go over that stuff. One other one real quick that I wanted to show, and this was kind of cool because this is near and dear to me and my heart, being part of the Copa Airlines family, especially when I was down there, where it was really a small family, a small airline with just one airplane, and compared to what it is now. But this is a really big honor for Al Sprague with Copa Airlines. Well, and speaking of Panama and tourism, how did the whole Copa Airlines thing come about? Because
Oh
that's
yeah,
really
yeah. I
cool.
had to be quiet about that for so long. So last year, before Dad passed, we were in the negotiations with Copa Airlines for them to license some photos. We gave them the idea. They contacted us actually. They had been doing for the last 2 years. They've been doing these little amenity packets in their business class
Sure.
that had just like a little stamp that had some kind of art on it, and it had Copa's thing. And I said, well, my agent in Panama, her name is Becky Bolton. I said, Becky, I can design some of these amenity packets that look a whole lot better and highlight my dad's artwork.
Right.
And so I put together a whole proposal, and I shot it over to them, and they ended up they actually ended up doing they licensed 15 products. I mean, 15 images, and they're
Yeah.
going to release like 5 a year for the next 3 years.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's in their business class. They get, when you go.
Yeah, that was really cool. It's those amenity bags that you get when you're in business first class. It's got your little toiletries and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
slippers and the little eye covers and all that stuff. But it's really cool that they were honoring Al Sprague, and more importantly, they reached out to these guys about it. And if you think about it from what she said there, it's been happening for about a year now. This has been in the works, and Al Sprague just passed away recently, so it wasn't something that was knee jerk reaction. Oh my God, Al Sprague passed away. Let's do something. It was something that they actively were thinking, hey, this is a
Mm-hmm.
great artist for Panama. Let's honor him, and so ended up being a nice tribute anyhow, for them. But that was really cool. That was again, Cassie Sprague is somebody I've known for a long time, and she was the very first guest that I ever had on this show. So I've always given her a lot of love for that because you know nobody had ever even heard of this show back in the day. And I was like, hey, I'm getting ready to do this
Yeah,
streaming
we're at
show. And would you join
103.
us? And she's like, sure, I would love to. And so, and then of course, last year, Al Sprague joined us in September of 2024. And just a fantastic show.
We should do some clips from that show.
Yeah, we have to. We definitely have to, because that one was, I think earlier, Chris Jeffries asked if that show with James Slater was our longest show ever. It was the second longest show. The Al Sprague show was long, and that one was almost 3.5 hours. And
so James is second, but we've had a couple of
3 hours
close,
plus.
yeah.
So it was also
a couple of 3 hours. We've had a lot of 2 hour and a half, 2 hour 45.
Yeah, for sure. We know our sweet spot is anywhere between the hour and a half. That's usually where we try.
What we aim for.
What we aim for, but we have fun with you guys as well. So sometimes they go a little bit longer. But anyhow, so that was week 3, and again we were busy this week. Last week we had an interesting show. Last week we had 2 different guests or sets of guests to join us, which was kind of a different thing for us. The first ones is somebody that we've talked about on the show a couple of times, Warren Gibbs and his 2 sons, Stone and Brenner, who are jiu-jitsu fighters, and they're very, very accomplished at it. I mean, they are champions. We've showcased them a couple of times, showing their pictures of all their medals and their wins and everything. But one of the things they always do, which Ricky brought up, during that conversation here, was always represent and proudly represent Panama in it. So check this out real quick.
When you're up there and you're winning, I've seen some pictures where you have the Panamanian flag. Tell me, what does it feel like for you when you put up that flag? And what kind of response do you get? What's going through your mind when you go and you put that flag up there?
I do it because he's from Panama, and what would you say? It's your lineage. Yeah, and I like to represent Panama.
Yeah.
And there's
we love it too, buddy.
Yeah, there's not a lot of people out there that you'll see doing jiu-jitsu that represent Panama. So me and my brother, we like to represent it, hold the flag up there on the podium, and just show it to people.
Right on. And you do it well, man. We appreciate you representing Panama.
That comes from the heart for all of us. You got a whole bunch of new fans.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was a lot of fun. His brother couldn't make it. He was in a training during this episode, so he'll join us for another one because I do want to bring them
the
back.
Younger one, Willie, or the older one?
I believe Stone is the younger one.
The younger one, he's badass.
I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Those kids are tough, man.
That's a man.
Tough sport,
and they're skilled. I mean, when you watch them do this, it's. I mean, you see the techniques they use. It's very purposeful. Everything that they do, and it was a lot of fun. We talked about the uniforms they use, why they prefer certain ones, because they can use them to grab onto somebody. And a lot of times I didn't realize this when it comes to these types of grappling, especially sometimes. It's not only an advantage to grab the other person's gi, right? That's what they call it, a gi, right?
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes it's your own sleeve that you might grab to help you get that leverage and lock somebody in. So sometimes you may wear it yourself and provide that. But that's, I think, what we'll find out next time is get into more or less the techniques of what jiu-jitsu is. We mentioned it briefly that karate, judo, and what's the difference here. We've all heard of jiu-jitsu, but you may not really know what what it pertains to, and that's kind of what he said. It's grappling. It's
similar to judo more than karate.
correct. Karate is a lot of striking, whereas judo is a lot of throwing and things of that nature.
Grabbing,
It seems.
blocking.
Right, right. You know, but then he had another a cool little chat here about one of his moves, and this is kind of cool to talk about.
Matt Arroyo, if anybody follows stuff, he was in UFC. Calls Stone the Kimura King
That's Warren Gibbs
because
there.
he submits so many people with Kimuras, and
So what's a Kimura? What's a Kimura, Stone?
So it's where the arm. I don't really know how to explain it,
you
but
can show a grip at least.
like if you get this grip, you get like on the wrist.
Right.
You go all the way over like this,
Okay.
and their arm goes like all
It's
the way
behind
back
their
to the neck,
shoulder.
and it like kind of tweaks the arm.
Sure.
Like it could break it.
If you don't stop, it'll break your humerus, and it'll rip your shoulder out of the socket.
So that's so that's you know to let go at that point. The Kimura. So he's the Kimura king. But like he said, it was really cool. The guy he mentioned, I don't, if you're in that genre, if you follow the martial arts and the mixed martial arts and everything, you probably recognize that name, but it's kind of cool that if you were playing, let's say middle school football, and an NFL player walks by and says, "Hey, aren't you, the gunslinger quarterback or whatever?" That's kind of the equivalent for these guys to have this martial arts pro know him because of his move, because he's made people submit so many times just by, doing that one move and grabbing him by the arm and stuff. So it was cool. It was fun to have these guys on. It's fun to see our friends, their kids, have success. We've talked about some other guys and some of these other Zonians that are playing in the NFL or in Major League Baseball in the NBA and whatnot. And here, another interesting thing they talked about is that jiu-jitsu is now gaining that popularity where Dana White, who runs the UFC, is now investing a lot of time and money into jiu-jitsu, and he wants to bring that to be the next mainstream, combat sport. So who knows? We may see these guys on pay-per-view and realize, hey,
it was Zonian blood right
these
there.
guys were on Happy Out the Balboa Yacht Club before anybody knew them. So, but the second guest that we had on was a really, really fun guest, somebody that we have chatted with so many times on the show, but from the other side as a guest, but somebody who's very knowledgeable about Panama and the Canal Zone and very active in it. And it was really fun to talk to HB Tui and get to know him and his story, which, like we've talked about before, we saw him on the Hallmark Channel. He had that movie and the sequel to it, Mystery Island, in which he appeared in, and that's kind of was his start to getting into becoming a bona fide star, but here's kind of the way that started, and very Zonian like in this. So check this out.
Cut the whole line. I'm very sorry. I need to get to the front. I was like, look, let me tell you something. I apologize profusely, but I need to do my audition now. I need to do it quickly, and I need to get out of here. And I ended up playing the bad guy, and I can just imagine the casting director's like, we found the bad guy.
Right.
This guy that comes in, pushing his way through the front of the line. So lo and behold, I got the part, and I that started my career in the movies. It was a lot of fun, and then from there, I was in a lot of Panamanian productions. I played every Zonian you can think of, beat up people, shot people in the back, all kinds of terrible things.
We got to put together a sizzle reel. I got to see all that stuff, man. Yeah, he's very talented on that Hallmark Plus channel where you can see those movies. It's cool to see him on there, and we talked a little bit about the fact that he plays a British character, and he has a British accent, which is great. It's fun to watch that stuff, and when you know the person, you're like, man, that's. Because if you don't know him, you assume he's a Brit, right? And so here he is talking. But when you know that he's not a Brit and he's never lived in England, and yet, like he said, what was the claim he said that he realized that he was doing a good job at the accent? Was when one of the co-stars off the shoot or whatever was, asking, "Are you from London?" Because he picked up a London accent. And he's like, "Yes, that's it means it
That's
worked."
good for actors, yes.
Yeah, heck yeah, it was, man. So
and then also Willie in like when production companies come to Panama and they want to do something with the Canal Zone, he's always the guy that they go to.
Yes,
for
he is.
interviews and get information or whatever. He is the go-to Zonian connection down there.
You know, and something that we didn't talk about, we'll certainly talk about again because, you know, half of his appearance was interviewing, getting to know HB, and the other half was something that we're going to have on a regular basis, which is our Canal Zone dictionary. You know, and
Mhm.
he'll be the one hosting that. Most of the time, he'll be refereeing, but every so often, Ricky and I may tag team and try and stump him as the panel there. But one of the things that we'll make sure to ask him about is before he was in front of the camera. I know when the show Survivor first started filming in Panama, he played a role in that as well, helping
Mhm.
behind the
That's
scenes to
right.
get them, you know. So he's been in the media entertainment world for a while, both behind and in front of the camera, and it's really cool to see where that's taken him. One of the things that we've gotten to know about him that's something that I know is near and dear to both Ricky and myself as far as the Canal Zone history and everything was that play 1903, right?
Mhm.
And he talked about that, and it's a really cool story, you know, uh, understanding what he's trying to do and where he's come from and his family that has a lot of history in Panama, and so this was really cool to see how it moved him to be, you know, recognized in Panama. I guarantee if they had that stuff around during COVID, they would have got rid of it, man. I don't know
Okay.
what that was there.
Okay. What is flojo?
Oh wait,
Flojo.
this might be
Flows
the
like a
wrong one, but let's
wuss.
play this anyway. So remember when you were a kid and you got the nasty scrape, the strawberry, the road rash, or whatever, and your mom put the mercurochrome on you. You'd be screaming and crying before it even touched you because you already anticipate the pain. And what does mom say? No seas tan flojo. You know, man up, man.
Mercurochrome.
We got big man steak.
I would have got rid of. Yeah, that mercurochrome was brutal, man. That
That thing
stuff
took
would.
care of everything, man.
Oh
Whatever you
my
had, put
god.
that stuff on it, man.
Yeah, no doubt. But
Mercury.
my
You put
god, that was
mercury on us
so much
to cure
pain,
us. Oh my
man.
god.
So much pain with that one. But no, the other one then that, like I said, he talked about was being in that play 1903. And where is it? I've got it here.
That's a big, was a huge event. I mean, that is the reason why Panama's a country was because of his role. The guy he played, Shaler, not allowing, you know, the breaking up the troops, sending the officers on one train and then holding the troops back on another.
Right.
So when those guys showed up, there was no troops. So they're like, all right, this is over.
Yeah, no. And maybe I didn't. I thought I had grabbed that one, but
And Shaler was American. Yes, he was an American.
correct. But nonetheless, it was, like I said, it was a lot of fun to do that. It was fun to have HB on. The guy's just a wealth of Canal Zone knowledge, and again, like Dave Dahlstrom, he has a family history that goes way back in the Canal Zone, and
He's
played a
fourth
big role in it.
generation. Yeah.
You know, yeah. So and
So they came right
like Ricky
after.
and I, his dad was Canal Zone Police, so you know we always have that
Three of us,
great connection as well. But he will be joining us doing these Canal Zone dictionary. This Canal Zone dictionary is one that Carl Berg put out. It's really really cool. It's
We
actually
love
called
it.
the Dictionary of the Canal Zone and Panama Area. But it's when you first look at it, you just assume that like most zoning things are kind of quirky and fun or whatever. And this one is a real dictionary. I mean, it really is offering explanations and definitions of everything, you know,
No pictures though.
Yeah, no pictures. It's definitely not any pictures on it, but now who knows with AI, somebody else throws them together and create them anyway. But it's really well done. It's really well made. We need to find out how we can get that thing out in print again, maybe on Amazon or something to make it available. But I know at the reunions he does show up and sell them there. But it's a really really fun book, and we had a lot of fun with that. So I'm looking forward to that again.
I like that segment that we're going to be doing regularly.
Yeah, no, it really is, man. So, but hey, listen, great recap. We had Ricky, thank you for stepping in and seeing how it starts flickering again with you. It just calm down for just a moment. This is crazy. I got to find out what's going on here, but nonetheless, it is Halloween. Remember, guys, next week. It's 8 p.m. Eastern time, 5 p.m. Pacific time, and it's 8 p.m. Canal Zone time. We have the time change here in the United States. So Panama and the Eastern time zone in the United States is going to be the same one now for the next 6 months. So I'll update the videos on that and everything else. But next week again, first of the month. So of course, our first of the month means that our Canal Zone historian Dave Dahlstrom is going to be joining us. And let me check and see, because I know he message me and see if I can give you guys a tease of what he's bringing up next week. He said, I'm going to do a segment on, let's see here, on the town of Zona. Okay. There's a town called Zona, Z-O-N-A. Also, he's going to do some interesting facts about Buenaventura. Ricky and I had an interesting debate last night about Buenaventura and these guys. So should be a lot of fun. But again, stay tuned. Some Canal Zone history coming up next week, so don't miss it. But thanks again for joining us, guys. We had a great October month. November is going to be awesome. A lot of Panama history. In the meantime, though, have an awesome weekend. And Ricky, get us out of here, man.
Hey, thanks, guys. I hope you saw our little Chiva go by. That's kind of our cue. Thank you, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.